Gerry, do you think you could fall over like on camera next time? Like wait till I press start recording so you could fall over? Because that would be like that's a way better cold open than this, which is a cheap attempt at capturing the magic of you just like absolutely like eating shit. We just have to like pretend that it just happened. It did just happen, but we missed it on the recording.
I'll do better next time.
Good. I mean, that's really all anyone can ask from anyone. You just got to do better next time. Make sure you take your pratfalls while the camera is recording, as opposed to while the camera is not recording. I think that's the important lesson.
I think the important lesson here is that there aren't cameras on me enough.
Yes.
Much like Eric Adams.
Yes. People don't pay enough attention to you. As a man with 3 podcasts, there should be more cameras on you.
Especially as a white cishet dude.
Yes, dude.
In 2025, I've been saying it.
Yes. I want to shout out the guy in the comments who said you looked like the bass player to a band last time, because I said that before the podcast and Gerry made fun of me. He was like, "Yeah, I can't believe you'd say that. Like, come on, man, don't be so insulting. Say he looks like the bass player in My Chemical Romance." And he was getting on me for being rude. And then someone in the comments said it, and I was like, "No, man, that's just what it looked like. You look like a specific guy. There's a specific guy from like 2006 who you genuinely looked like with that haircut. I swear to God."
I took it as a dig because no one wants to be the bass player. And so you say I look like a bass player. I assume you're insulting me.
Sure. I mean, like, I think it's very reasonable to interpret 90% of my banter as a dig. I think that is not an incorrect read. But also, there's like a specific guy. There's like a specific guy that haircut looked like. I mean, like, you could get on me. It's 2025 and I have a man bun and I don't put it together well. It's sideways right now. Like, it's not hard to get on me about hair stuff. I feel like it's there.
Your hair and your beard makes you look like Brad Nelson.
Well, that's just a compliment. Come on now. Why would I not want to be the star of the greatest book ever written, Grinder, the Brad Nelson story?
With an E, to be clear.
Yeah, that book's name did get a little bit recontextualized by the rise of the dating app Grindr. It did, but it was meant in a positive light at the time. Really, what we're learning here is establish, 1, I am Brad Nelson. 2, Gerry is the bass player from probably not My Chemical Romance or Fall Out Boy, but like one of those kind of bands. And 3, Golden Gauntlet 3 or Golden Gauntlet World Championship Series Qualifier 1, because I actually know that because I did commentary for it, so I know the official TM name of the event, just happened. I feel like I had the best commentary night of my life. Like, I don't think I've ever done better. And a guy who played a deck he got from my video got second. And a guy who quit my Discord because too many people were complaining about monetization got first. So, real, just all KMBest sweep. No, like, to be clear, he quit because people were whining about monetization, not over the monetization. This is not a guy who was like, I can't stand Kid Omega. This is a guy who was like, can you guys shut the fuck up about Fantasticar? Like,
I gotta leave this Discord, eliminate distractions, and practice for this tournament.
Not even that. I'm not convinced that he plays a lot of Marvel Snap even. It's one of those, like, just Jordan showing up out of retirement kind of things that happen there.
Just dunking on some kids.
Yes, that's basically what happened. But he did it with Electra. And I don't know how much I've talked about this on the podcast. I've been an Electra fan for like 3 months, basically. I have been a believer in the card Electra. Electra winning a tournament like this is it's such vindication for me as an Electra believer who I started playing her as kind of a joke because I just finished reading the Frank Miller Daredevil run and came away realizing that, like, you know, outside of like 3 1-drops are totally terrible, and Electra kills those other 3 1-drops. So if you aren't playing one of those 1-drops, you should probably play Electra. Like, if you're not playing, you know, the Hood or whatever, and like Sunspot or like those things those 1-drops that have like upward directional synergy, there's kind of not just like this is a good one drop for you to play beyond Hydra Bob. And Elektra is pretty comparable to Hydra Bob. Better when she hits, worse when she doesn't.
Way better when you roll Mojo World.
Yeah, I mean, she's the Mojo World GOAT for sure. Gerry, I'm going to move this segment to the front because I thought it was such a good gag last time. It's time for Gerry Thompson life update.
Okay.
What have you been doing, Gerry?
The same.
Awesome. This has been Gerry Thompson life update. We are going to now move on to the next segment, which is about an hour and a half of just talking about random stuff. But I did want to make sure we got Gerry Thompson life update front loaded. I just really think that's important content. Yeah, no problem.
I appreciate that. I feel seen.
I feel like I have so many different gags to strap onto this, where like we do Gerry Thompson life update and like I get like really punchy news music and we like cut into Gerry Thompson life update and then cut out of it immediately. like that. I've got a lot of
breaking news. Update on Gerry's life. It's the same. Back to our regularly scheduled program.
I feel like that's actually like, I feel like that would be fairly relatable though, where it's like, you know, breaking news, local man entirely exists in shades of gray. Local man, like that feels like everyone after COVID, you know what I mean? Everyone kind of feels that. Yeah. Yeah. Look at that. Yeah. There you go.
Shades o' gray.
Shades. That's the band that you're the bass player for.
50 of them, but you know, working on it.
50 Shades of Grey it's actually an article about your wardrobe.
I used to only have like black clothes. And then I had a couple things that went nice together that were light colored, like specifically like white, maybe with like a logo or a word or something, right? And then just dude, at some point, like 8 years ago, I was like, I'm gonna try some gray stuff. Now I have a lot of gray stuff. I'm really, really branching out.
Yeah.
White, black, and in between.
When I was a kid, I wore all sorts of bright colors because that's what you do when you're a kid. When you become a teenager, then you're like, oh God, what will people think of me if I wear a color? Oh God, I can't handle that, right? So it was a lot of like black, white, grayscale stuff. Eventually I got older and now I love like splashes of bright colors again. I've gone back to being a kid, right? And that's I think a good way to you know, you age in a circle. That's the idea. Just aging in a circle.
For folks who don't know, you become an adult, you can do whatever the hell you want. True. And I would hope that with this newfound power, you do things that make you happy.
Yeah, like dress like JD Vance.
I don't know what that means, but all right.
It's a skinny jeans dig. Don't even.
Yeah,
word.
It's
just one of those. Like I appreciated you bringing up Eric Adams. I haven't actually seen a lot.
Bass players probably wear skinny jeans too, you know. So checking all the boxes of my heroes.
My boy has not been around.
Because you don't pay attention to them because they're bass players.
No, Eric Adams is not a bass player.
Oh. I thought you were saying you haven't seen a lot of bass players wearing.
No, I haven't seen a lot of Eric Adams recently. The guy who's been making news as the Republican candidate, his name is Curtis Sliwa. He is famously kind of a ridiculous character because apparently in New York, if you run for mayor, you are only allowed to do so if you are one of the weirdest people alive. Like you can't do so if you're like a normal dude. You're like legally barred. And so Curtis Sliwa is the Republican. He has a beret tan line because he refuses to take off his beret. Like he just wears a beret everywhere and he refuses to take the beret off. And it's like, so like when he takes it off for like, you know, moment of silence for the victims or whatever, you can see there's a beret tan line on his head.
Yeah. Like he goes to the tanning salon and he keeps the beret on.
I don't know. But my point is, he's a goat. He's a goat for that.
I will say that given what I just said about being an adult, doing things that make you happy, good for him, you know?
Really? I thought you were going to make an exception.
No, man just loves berets. I would hope. Maybe he's wearing them for a different reason. I don't know.
What if it's like a Professor Quirrell type thing where like the beret is there to cover up the head that exists on the back of his head? Like he's got like Eric Adams's head on the back of his head like Voldemort, where it's just, I mean, honestly, I think that's low key some people's dream candidate. I've seen a lot of like, they should all drop out and endorse each other to beat Zoran Mamdani. So I think like Curtis Sliwa with Eric Adams' head glued to the back of his head. I think that's largely like, I think there's a constituency for that. It's largely donors, but I think there is a constituency for that.
I think Voldemort has a better chance of winning.
Well, I mean, that's just I'm not even going to bother making that joke. Like,
yeah,
that's just 2016 resist lib coded right there. I feel like we should probably talk a little bit about Marvel Snap. I like how we like baited them in with Marvel Snap talk and then started talking about base
Electra's
players.
tight.
Electra is tight, dude. Yeah, it fucking rocks. It is super sick that card is getting the shine that it deserves, but I think there's also some larger metagame things going on here. Metagame thing number one, Invisible Woman First Steps is like kind of silly broken. And I don't mean that to say that like, she's that far out of line. It's just, sometimes there's a deck that is 4 points higher than every other deck in its space, right? And that's what she's doing. And it's like, is that obviously is that obviously broken? Is it super busted the way like things in other card games can be super busted, right? There was just a Pro Tour that the Pro Tour was 54% one deck.
If you're talking about the arena thing this weekend, that was a 37 player tournament.
Okay, so the format isn't as bad as, because people are making it sound like it's really bad.
I mean, do you want me to go on the rant?
Yes, that's why you're here. This is the real Gerry Thompson life update. Let's talk about Cauldron Agatha.
Yeah, so to be clear, deck is very good. However, humans, Magic players, lazy as shit. And for example, there was just a rotation. So 4 or 5 sets, whatever it is, 4.5 sets, rotated out. And now this is a brand new format, and people tend to just latch onto the first thing they see that is very strong. And looking at the results as time goes on, it's like, yeah, that deck is doing well. And the people who are playing the deck start incorporating cards that are good in the mirror match, because they're like, well, I'm kind of beating up on everyone else. I should play more like Abrades and whatnot. Meanwhile, people who are not playing this deck act as if this deck does not exist. They do not play cards that are good against this deck. It is completely baffling. It just makes me think that like the people who are latching onto the best deck and are willing to play it are the ones who are thinking a little bit deeper and willing to innovate a bit. And everyone else is just like, I don't know, I'm playing cards I like, But before the rotation, there was a BNR announcement that banned 7 cards. And the one deck that did not get cards banned was a very mopey blue-black mid-range deck, which then everyone started to play, and then people were like, oh, should have banned this card out of blue-black too. Meanwhile, there is a deck that, yes, had some cards that were banned, but you could build it in such a way that was like not even like that weird, where you basically dominated the blue-black deck. Like you were also a blue-black deck and you were like 80-20 against them. And people were like, oh, ban this other one. That is terrible.
Well, I'm not sure what the lesson I'm supposed to take from this is. It feels like the lesson is everyone's
people
an
are
idiot.
lazy as shit.
Okay.
People are lazy as shit. It's not even that they're dumb. It's that they just see that like a deck is good, and then they play with stock decks. They can't beat it. So then they switch to that deck. And then they're like, oh, well, I'm only going to play against mirror matches. I better play a bunch of cards. Well, why didn't you play other decks that also had a bunch of cards that were good against this deck? Why is it the mirror match the only one that you get to evolve and treat this Soul Cauldron deck like it matters and exists? It's bananas to me. Like, this is a new phenomenon.
I will say this: the deck that got second to the Golden Gauntlet was one of the ones from my videos that like was played by someone in my Discord who like got it from the video, and it was very explicitly the Invisible Woman deck tech to beat the Invisible Woman mirror. It was the exact thing you're talking about, where it's like, yeah,
you know what?
So I put
you
Juggernaut
play
and
other
Negasonic
deck
in here.
Yeah, you can play other decks and also put cards like that in your decks.
Like, it's just like, why bother? I don't know. Like, it's just the thought process is like, you know, I could do that, but like, I have a guaranteed floor here, right? And I love a guaranteed floor on my innovation because it means I can't fuck up too bad. Like, it's like, I think I'm right about it too, but it's also like, if I have like, what would the point of playing if I don't think people have sufficiently solved the counters for Invisible Woman, which I just don't. I don't think people, like, everyone talk like Supergiant is a counter, but it's not like, holy shit, I got Supergiant and I'm dead, right? Like, it's fine.
Yeah. When I'm playing the Invisible Woman deck, I always feel so vulnerable. Like, I'm just playing out my cards and like they're just there, you know?
Yeah.
You could just do whatever you want to them at any point, right? And my plan is mostly kind of face up, and I'm just like, oh, I hope my opponent doesn't do anything. Then they just don't. I'm like, oh.
They just actually don't, right? Like, when you look at the deck that won the Golden Gauntlet, they had the Electra for the Sunspot, they had the Cannonball for the Invisible Woman, right? You can Cannonball on 5 and fuck up a Prodigy play. Or if you have the Mercury, you can Mercury Cannonball. And you can go stats for stat with it. It's doing what you're doing. It's doing what you're talking about. It's taking tech that is relevant in the mirror and saying, well, like, what about if we did it in a different shell? And then you look at the deck that got second, which is the one that I largely put together. Like, that is very much doing the thing that you're saying sucks. I think both of them are equally palatable ways to get to a win. But I do agree that it's a lot easier, I think, for people to focus on what matters in a matchup when they have that baseline confidence of, I know that this core is so good that I don't have to worry about a bunch of other shit because the core is so good. And I think that's like that confidence to make decisions and to know that, like, as long as I have this here, I can't be throwing that hard. It's impossible for me to be that wrong. I think that does matter.
No, it does for sure. I mean, I do think the best place to be is probably like the best deck where you are sacrificing very little against the rest of the field to try and beat the mirror. And I think that is proven out in a bunch of different card games in a bunch of different ways over the years, you know, but that is until everyone else catches up.
Yeah.
And at some point, ideally that would change. The funny thing about the Magic situation is, like, at the start of the format, like way back, Blue-Black was the best deck, like basically the same deck, and fell out of favor after like 3 months for a reason that you could then recreate after the bannings. But after cards got banned, people were still just like throwing their hands up, like, can't beat it. It's like, no, we've done this already, you know? And so this is the kind of situation where it's like, yeah, if the mirror can figure out how to beat the Invisible Woman deck, why can't you? You got more deck slots.
That's very true. I think in Marvel Snap, the oh my god, my cat just like, I had her in my arms, I let her down. She's pretty stupid, and in cats, I feel like stupid is often translated to clumsy. And like, I let her down. Like, this is a cat that will actually fall sometimes because she's just like distracted. She would have fallen were it not my feet in the way. And like, I let her down for
like,
2 feet.
Yeah. Oh, I forgot how to cat. I just turned it off for a moment.
Yep. That's like their whole thing, is they always land on their feet. I have seen this cat absolutely eat shit. Like, there is not a lot of, there's she's like, even for a cat, you know, she still lands on her feet a lot, but there's a noticeable amount of not doing that.
The funniest to me is when one of my cats, Nora, will go to make a jump that she has made 1,000 times before, and then just eat shit on it. And I'm just like, what happened there?
Yeah, just, you know, one of those days, you know? Sometimes,
and
like,
then,
hey,
and then
man,
she gets like embarrassed and just leaves the room.
You're describing
and will
me.
come back eventually. Yeah.
You're describing me when I lose a game of Marvel Snap, you know?
I mean, it's like when this podcast started, I sat in my chair, ate shit.
Yeah.
Done that 1,000 times.
Yeah.
Sitting in the chair successfully, I mean.
This is where we smash cut to just an hour of Gerry pratfalls, and that's the rest of the show. I wish my chair could do pratfalls. I switched it out recently. my previous chair was too creaky. Like sometimes it'll just get like that. This chair is a little bit worse, and also it's still creaky, but it's less creaky. So we just take the wins where we can get them. I will
That's a
never
dub,
be a gamer
you know?
chair man. I don't think I can be a gamer chair guy. Just like I don't know. I just feel like if I buy one, I'm getting ripped off somehow. But maybe one of those companies that sponsors people will just send me a free one.
Yeah, I got this from a homie that worked at Corsair. Shout out Frank. And he was just like, you know, shout us out on the podcast a couple times. We did. It was good. Chair was good, but this is like 4 years ago, and now it's just like the pump doesn't work anymore. It's just like the lowest setting, and like there's a bunch of things wrong with it, and it's also just like big. And yeah, occasionally I fall backwards. You know,
Yeah,
it's not great.
I will say, my chair has a low center of gravity. I've never fallen out of it. Now I also have a low center of gravity. Big dude.
I need a lower desk. That's what I need. They make desks too tall.
I mean, I don't think that's the problem here, but it could be a solution. You know what I mean? I feel like I don't know about you, but I think a lot of desks are at whatever height you want them to be. Like you could go out and buy a desk that's a different height. It's not that they're making desks too tall. There's no like there.
No,
yeah,
they're
they.
doing it. They. No, I mean I bought a desk. It was like, oh, I don't see how tall it was. I didn't think I cared, but I figured out that I like having my feet up because I have ADHD, and otherwise I would just like fidget a bunch, right? And this is like the one way to sit comfortably at a desk is with my feet up. But because my chair is now broken and doesn't go up anymore, and the desk is too tall, my feet are way up, and it's like it's a little uncomfortable.
So the they here is really
no, it's they. The desk is too tall.
Okay. All right. Okay. I wanna. I guess
it's too tall to the point where Nora can't make the jump. She can't get on top of it.
So all the they is you and your cat. That like that's they.
If the desk were a little bit shorter, all my cats could be up here with me at the same time. Dude, be dope as hell.
Doing like cat QAnon about desk size.
Yeah.
They're out here.
They're just out here trying to keep Nora sad. You know, it's
Jeff Bezos has been replaced with a clone who is 3 inches taller, and thus all desks have gotten 3 inches taller. How it works. How they get you. But yeah,
it is how they get you.
Back to Invisible Woman, another way in which they get you. We need to support Visible Women. This is
No, for real. I'm in.
This is a deck that I think is like it's hard for a Marvel Snap card to be like super fucked up in the context that like other card games can have super fucked up cards, right? Like I don't think Marvel Snap has ever had an Oko unless you count 2 years ago, right? Like it's been a couple years since that happened, right? There's like a original Alioth, Blob, original Elsa, Loki. There've been cards like that. Basically, none of them have. Basically, zero of them, though.
Loki was the one I was gonna say where it was like, well, now you're playing a mirror match, except all my cards are better.
Yes,
and it's just like that. It is just a stupid card.
I will say, like, I don't think Marvel Snap has done any of those since, like, I'm not gonna say literally that month because I think Blob counts, but like basically since December 2023 or whatever, I just don't think they've done those, right? And so, there were previously
Iron Patriot kind of stuff, but
no,
I think that's getting a little too deep.
No, like that's just, it's simply not on that level. Like when you look at like how broken a card is now, we're talking cards that are like undercosted by 1 mana, right? That's just not the same thing. Like those previous cards were like Black Lotus-y type shit, right? Like it was just like ridiculously, very obviously off. You have to rework this or it functionally cannot exist, right? Like every one of those cards, like if Elsa released nowadays, she would instantly be the best 2-drop in the game. Like that old Elsa would instantly be the best 2-drop in the game. Like you just,
yeah, you're right. You're right.
you fundamentally can't do that, right? And like cards like Loki fully redesigned, Eliath fully redesigned. Like they were just like, fuck this. Blob has a cap on it. We can't do that shit anymore, right? Like all of that, like those cards were like very much more in line with old Magic cards that are just like very obviously not a thing that any design regime would do nowadays. But everything now is just like 1 energy undercosted. It's like, okay,
yeah.
whatever.
What should our blue legendary land do? Add blue for each artifact you control. That's fine.
Exactly.
That's cool.
Exactly, right? Like that's what those are. Those are all, Academy. Like those are all Tolarian Academy, whereas like the modern card, like the modern busted cards like Mr. Fantastic or whatever, those are Thragtusk,
Like,
right? Or
Tarmogoyf.
yeah, it's just like, all right, that's a little too good. Like it's like everything else, like they don't make completely fucked up ban worthy mistakes the way that other card games do, in large part because if they ever did, they could fix it in 2 weeks. But also, like, these are imbalanced cards. They're strong, but it's just very hard to, in Marvel Snap, make a mistake that big. And Invisible Woman, I think, is the closest we've gotten.
Oh.
I do. Like, I think Invisible Woman is the closest to just, like, this is pretty stupid. And even she is like, I don't know, you take a point of power off of Havoc and a point of power off his scaling, and suddenly who gives a shit, right? Like, you take a point of power off Athena's scaling. You take, even Sunspot, it's like, I feel like you're paying fair price for what you get when you do Sunspot double Invisible Woman. I think that's about fine, right? Like, really, the numbers aren't necessarily the problem in the deck like this. It's effectively the same numbers as like discard or move bounce. It's that it gets to do those numbers while also playing relevant tech, right? Like it gets to be a Juggernaut Negasonic deck that has the power output of MODOK discard. And it's like, oh, that's the problem. But even then, it's not that busted. You still beat it on points with stuff, right? Like it's fascinating how self-correcting Marvel Snap metagames can be, even with mistakes like this in there, which makes me think that this is just a lower level of mistake than something like old Eliath was.
No, it is. I do think you're right, because it could be fixed by adjusting the power output on a couple different cards.
Yeah.
And there are things that exist in the game already where it's like, oh, I know you're going to try and play Prodigy this turn, so I will like move your thing or clog you or whatever. There are solutions to these things. They've literally never happened to me, but in theory they exist.
Yeah. And I do think that like largely the thing that strikes me about this is I've often talked about how like discard's gate, like the thing that makes discard only ever able to be so good is that it cannot ever do anything else. It can only do what it does. And this is, it's probably a little bit less than a nut draw discard output, but it does it while being able to be a Juggernaut deck, while being able to be a Negasonic deck, while being able to have a normal mid-range game plan when it doesn't get the combo off. And I think largely like what it's doing is sort of hooking up a Mustang to a well-oiled machine. Like that's sort of what's happening here, where it's like, oh, you also have this combo finish to your already powerful tempo mid-range strategy, right? Like you have this additional thing, and that's really what's messed up about it. It's that it allows combo points output without really making you work in deck building too hard for it, right? That's
and not too much of an opportunity cost.
Right, which is why I talk about hitting the combo points output, right? Dina, Sunspot, Havoc, rather than hitting Invisible Woman herself, because I don't think really that, like, I realize it's easy to be like, oh yeah, she's the problem, but it's like, how much of a problem is she if you're getting, 10 power instead of 16, Like, I think that, like, she's inherently tied to her payoffs in a way that makes me feel like I'd rather her continue to exist and just maybe don't put +4 on a card that says end of turn anymore.
Yeah, I mean, classically, I think it makes more sense to go after the enablers rather than the payoffs, because if it's not Havoc, maybe it'll be something else. But in this case, I don't think that's true. I think this is the thing that like proves the rule or whatever.
I mean, I just think it's like Havoc is so clearly the best of the payoffs. It's like Yeah, you probably just want to hit that one and then see what happens. It might still be busted, right? Like the fundamentals don't change. This is still a lot
But
of
at least the
points.
numbers
Like,
go down.
yeah, the numbers go down,
More
A, and B, the other cards are asking you to play in a certain way. Dina's like, only play 2 cards on the final turn of the game. That's a meaningful restriction. Obviously, it's outweighed by the fact that she gets a Hulk added to her when you have the Invisible Woman Prodigy. That's awesome, right? You love having a free Hulk. But she's asking things of you. Sunspot is asking things of you. Havoc is saying, play me, and I'm 16 power. And it's like, yeah, okay, that's probably the one that one's a little jacked up to me. I also think that you could very easily, like, yeah, but like you could also very easily just like take a point of power off Invisible Woman if you wanted to. I'm not opposed to that, but I generally just sort of think that like when you look at how this deck plays out, the issue is that it fuses combo output into mid-range shells. If you reduce that combo output, suddenly it starts losing a move bounce or whatever, you know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it should not be able to function like a normal snap deck and then also just be like, here's a 216.
Yeah.
You know, like
Yes.
I think we know that that's kind of messed up, and there are cards that are much, much weaker than that who we have taken action against.
Yeah. Like, this is definitely, I mean, to me, this is actually the biggest balance whiff since Old Eliath, but I think that's largely just because a lot of balance whiffs. And in this vein, like, I also think that, like, you could argue that a bunch of repeated really good 2 costs is a bigger balance whiff if you want to argue that. But, like, in terms of one individual card, I do think this is the best a new card has been. I think it's up there maybe with like Mercury coming out and doing to Cannonball. Like, I still don't like that personally. I still think Mercury Cannonball is nerfable. This is up there. Like, it's one of the bigger balance whiffs that I think has happened under this new regime.
Yeah, I do too. And I think both of those interactions, both Invisible Woman, Havoc, and Mercury Cannonball, are things where it's like, well, this was probably not intended to work this way. You know, like Mercury is supposed to be like a move hate card. And I think Cannonball is supposed to be like Shang-Chi alt, Juggernaut alt kind of thing. But just because of how the rules of the game work, it's like, oh, these are really nice together.
Yeah, but I don't think that's an excuse. I think that's like a known thing. Like, it's not like they released those cards not knowing that Mercury and Cannonball would do that.
Probably true, but I think it is just like, well, maybe you should change the words on Cannonball. You know, like I want the cards to individually maintain like their holistic thing. What they are trying to do is just when you tack the text of the 2 cards next to each other, it's like this ends up creating a very strong interaction, and this is I guess if you were releasing them like back to back or in the same week or whatever, it would probably not be like that, right? So yeah, maybe you should do something about that.
Yeah, it's one of those things where it's like, I think Invisible Woman specifically is not necessarily like all that much better than anything anyone else would be doing. Like, is she that much better at being a Juggernaut Negasonic deck than Victoria Hand is? No. Are her counters that terrible? No. Like, I know I talked down on Supergiant, but you definitely are favored against an Invisible Woman deck with a freaking Supergiant deck. It's just, it's a lot easier to play an Invisible Woman deck, right? Like, that's sort of the issue, is like, a lot of the things that are counters to this card are only counters at a high level as long as you process it, right? Cards like Juggernaut and Negasonic are, and I know this sounds ridiculous, hard to play. That's why they never have nerfable like stats, right? Juggernaut has been a card that every high level player has yelled about for a year and a half, and it has never, ever, ever hit the stats threshold, I assume, or they would have nerfed it, right? Like, this is clearly a card with skill expression baked into it because of the way it interacts with priority and because of how priority requires you to understand what you're playing against, what your output needs to be, and how you need to set that stuff up. And Negasonic, that's even more emphasized because she literally doesn't work if you don't have priority, right? That's a very difficult card to play. And so you have these cards that are really good against this deck, but they're really hard to play. Supergiant is a famously intricate and difficult to play archetype. There's like 5 people who know how to play that deck on the entirety of the North America server. And
I'm not one of them.
Those are the counters to a deck that literally just says, play your cards and then do what it says on them. That if there is a problem with this archetype, a lot of it is the simplicity of it versus the intricacy of the things that are good against it.
Yeah. Well, I guess shout out Lawson again, homie of mine who picked up Snap not that long ago and has just been screaming at me about Juggernaut and Negasonic. So
he's right.
I don't know if
he's 100% right. Yeah.
He's right a lot. So I don't know if that qualifies him. Like, if you complain about Juggernaut, does that mean that you are high level? Because if you're high level, it means that you're supposed to complain about Juggernaut. Is it
a little circular? Yeah. Maybe people are just net decking the complaints. Maybe he heard me complaining about Juggernaut, and maybe I'm setting the complaint meta.
Very likely, honestly.
Yeah.
And it is possible. Like, I know he watches your stuff, and he'll text me occasionally, and a lot of it, it's like, yeah, I talk to KM too. Like, I agree.
That's one of my pet peeves as a content creator. Is someone will be like, did you hear about a deck that a friend of yours made? Like, yeah, I did, actually. I was in the chat room when they were making it. I did hear about it. Like someone was like, don't sleep on, this deck or whatever. It's like, I didn't. I was there. I've had conversations with the person who made it. I'm not sleeping on it. I just don't like it. Like, it's just like, don't
hey,
like,
man.
There's an assumption.
Man.
There's an assumption of ignorance instead of competency. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Hey, man, I got great news. Your brother got engaged. It's like, yeah, I found out 3 weeks ago.
It is kind of like that. It's like, I know it's not a real thing worth getting mad about, but like there was someone who was like, hey man,
it's baffling though.
Did you consider that Stardust stops and then just like list of all the cards Stardust stops? Like, yeah, dude, I can read. I promise I can read. I read the card. Like, I don't know.
I am giving you zero credit whatsoever by making this post.
It's one of those things where it's just like there's also this other thing that happens, a similar content creator pet peeve, where like I'll talk about like a sort of meta thing, and then people will respond by reading the card or describing what it does. And so like I'll be like,
that's a Magic thing too.
Mr. Negative is not that good in this current metagame, and someone will be like, well, here, I got 80 points with Mr. Negative. What the hell are you talking about? It's like, dude, like, I know it can do that. I know that Mr. Negative can put points on the board. Like,
yeah. Are you sure it's bad because it makes Iron Man cost 0? You're like, yeah, it's been doing that for a while.
That one gets me a lot. It's like, I don't know how to respond because it's like, I feel like you're assuming that I'm stupid. Like, I feel like this is just a baseline assumption of the conversation is that I'm a moron, but that's clearly not what it is because you want to have the conversation with me. I don't understand. Like, I don't.
No, I think this is one of those situations where a lot of the time people are just like seeking human interaction, and it's like, I don't know what to talk about, so I'm gonna say you can't read and see what happens. I don't think you can read, KM.
Well,
prove it.
It's good. I mean, I can't. So you did catch me there. I am, as a card gamer, like legally unable to read. But it's like, I don't know. I'm human. Sometimes I'll miss stuff. It's valid to be like, hey, I don't know if you missed this. But like with stuff like what cards do, I can miss that too, I suppose. It's possible.
You
right?
can.
It's
you can.
possible.
But I think that there are situations where you could guess. Like, hey, is this within KM's range to miss this? Does he know what Mr. Negative does?
I don't know. My range is very wide. My range is like 99% of the time. I mean, 99 is an overstatement. I'm totally on it. I'm on the ball. 1% of the time, I don't know what words are. So I think it is entirely within my range to fuck this stuff up. Just like you're 99% unlikely to be right about it. You know what I mean?
I used to think the same thing about myself. I'm like, man, I keep it tight a lot of the time, And then this weekend, my opponent played a 3/3, and then I untapped and thought about what removal spell to use, and then I shocked it. I dealt it 2 damage.
That's the 1% though. That's what I mean. Like, it's not impossible
it happens too much.
Oh,
too much. I have not played 100 games since the last. Like,
yeah,
not that bad. He like looked at me funny, like he went to pick it up, and then he's like, "What the hell's happening?" And then I was like, "Yeah, my card exiles your card." And he's like, "What?" It just further confused him because he's like, "Well, mine's not dead." I was like, "Oh, okay."
Dude, you hit him with the classic Gerry Thompson gaslight, right? That's actually where it's like where you're like you shock the thing, it's a 3/3, and he's like, "What's happening here?" And you're like, "Oh, it's my card exiles your card." Technically true. It does technically exile if it were dead. You hit him with the Noah Rabine. You hit him with the we just can't know. We just can't know.
I did consider getting my lawyers involved.
Yeah.
You know, just calling the team.
Noah Rabine news. Everyone's favorite topic on this. What?
Did he make a new post? Someone said something along those lines.
I only saw the first post.
Okay.
I only saw the first post where he set up a website to be like, I was a dick, but I will continue playing and judging. Rocks.
Well,
my king.
Have we not talked about this yet?
I guess we haven't talked about that. We haven't talked about it here. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So he was like, here are a few things that I have done. And the event that sparked like this Twitter takedown of him was him scumming a kid playing for a Pro Tour invite. And then in the list of things that he copped to, that was not in there. And also he was like, I am going to quit playing Pro Tours, except for this one that I just qualified for by scumming this kid.
Wait, it's the same Pro Tour?
Yes! It's incredible!
My goat. Oh my God. My actual God King. This guy rocks so hard. Oh God, that's so sick. I really like, I don't know. Sometimes I think, hey, what would you do if you were canceled? And obviously the answer is don't be in the situation, right? Like, don't do that, right? But like it's a thought that enters my mind because I'm a doom spiral type of guy. I misspoke in a video. I was like, what I was trying to say was everyone who comments this will get entered in a giveaway for a season pass. And what I actually said was everyone who comments this will get a season pass. Now I realize that's not legally binding, but like, I'm still afraid, like, oh my God, I'm going to get a bunch of hate for this. I asked in my Discord, not a single person interpreted it that way. No one even told me that I had said that because they obviously knew what the deal was. But like, I still think like, oh my God, there's going to be a Reddit thread. People are going to be mad at me. I'm going to be like that kind of stuff comes up, right?
I like how you get grace in that situation, but they're like, have you read Mr. Negative?
I don't know. Like it definitely like it came up. Like I ended up pinning a comment that was like, I don't have $3,000 for season passes, chat. I'm entering in a giveaway. Cause like the thing is, when I use the word giveaway on my stream, it's always in the context of a raffle. Like that's what the word means to me at this point. And I just use the word giveaway. I'm an idiot. The large part here is like, it's very within my range to be a complete fucking idiot. Is like, that is the point that I want to bring up. And sometimes I wonder because like this is not a just world. We don't always dogpile the people that actually do stuff. I could get dogpiled for being fucking stupid, right? What would I do in that situation? What would I do if I were in the Noah Rabine spot and I was somehow innocent? And honestly, I don't think there's a good answer. I don't have any advice for this guy because it's like, assuming you're like, yeah, I'm just a normal dude who wants to grow older. Like the only thing anyone wants from you is to go away. They don't want you to get better. They want you to go away. They want you to leave the community forever. Correct?
You know what I want? You know what I want? I want him to top 8 the Pro Tour.
Fuck that. I want him to win the Pro Tour on a judge call.
Well, baby steps. Yeah, baby steps. There was a spot a couple PTs ago where the guy is in the middle of resolving a trigger and realizes that he missed a different trigger that would draw him a card. And this is game 5 of the finals. And he asked Matt Nass, he's like, can I have that trigger? And Matt was just like, well, normally I would, but no.
It's just game 5 of the finals of the Pro Tour. Sorry, man.
And you're in the middle of like flipping cards over for your Atraxa, you know, like I think we've gone a little too far. And yeah, I feel like it's, you know, Matt Nass, but Noah Rabine instead. And instead he just gets the guy DQ'd.
I
like,
saw
without
a post.
prize.
I saw a post about One Piece TCG, which you're gonna have to, like, if anyone who actually plays One Piece, if I got any of the details wrong here, because I'm sure they do matter, feel free to correct me. Where it was like someone was accusing the judge of scumming a player for the player missing a trigger on their leader. And the trigger was like very specifically like, you know, for Magic, in Magic terminology, was like in upkeep, and they'd already drawn their card for the turn. And they were like, oh, well, you can't go do the trigger then. And it's like, yeah, that's how the card works. And everyone's like, and everyone in the One Piece community seems to be mad at this judge for making them play the game the way the cards work. And it's like,
that's weird. I mean,
what the fuck are we talking about here?
It depends on what the sentiment in the community is, where it's like, oh, I went too fast and like, you know, drew my card before my thing.
You're playing at Comp REL. Your card's got to do what they say.
I mean, Comp REL. Like, if their version of competitive is, we all make some oopsies, you know, we'll do a little takesies backsies. That's okay. You know, we're playing a game based around a cartoon.
I bet they have better prize support than Magic.
They don't have better tournament organizers. That's for goddamn sure.
Yeah, but sure. Like,
you also have to like enter raffles to get into tournaments. So
that's true.
Not all of them, but for some of them, I don't know if they have changed that or not. But
I will say that I gotta be honest. Like, there's this wave of card games, One Piece, Lorcana, where your cards are your mana, and it's like, oh, we fixed mana screw. Fuck that. Fuck that. I would rather be in a mana screw, mana flood card game 10 out of 10 times. I cannot stress enough how important replayability and the worst player beating the better player is, and different textures of games. And I don't feel like any of those games appreciably understand that. And that's why you get...
And in fact, give me Stone Rain. Let's add a little texture. Let's add a little texture.
The texture of sandpaper on your crotch. That's texture, but it's not texture I want. I don't know. Like, I just want to feel
something.
I just think that people really underestimate how important mana screw and mana flood is. And like, maybe there's a better way of implementing it in the year 2025 or whatever, right? But like, sort of basically removing it entirely, I feel like is a really, really, really bad game mechanic for long-term viability.
I look at it this way. A lot of Magic's RNG, like the variance, which does add to the replayability, is tied up in the mana system.
Yeah.
And these games that do away with that do not necessarily implement RNG in other areas.
Yeah, that's really the problem. Yeah.
That's the problem.
Yes.
Hearthstone did this, and it did it in unsatisfying ways. And I think there's a lot you could talk about there in terms of like post-decision, like output in terms of like where the RNG is. Where like Magic's is great because like you draw your card, then you make decisions, right? But for Hearthstone, it's like you play a thing and then your Knife Juggler triggers. And then you have no agency after that fact, right?
Yes.
Like, it's really frustrating. Whereas Magic's, you still feel like you have control over it.
Right. It forces you to opt into 50-50s when that's just like the right thing to do, right? It's like, I got to take this 50-50. Oh, I lose. GG. Like,
yeah,
oh,
exactly.
My 7/5 Demon Hunter revived my starship. You lose. GG. Sorry. Like, it's definitely a thing. The pre versus post decision RNG, I think that's like a valid conversation, but the point is that they knew they needed RNG in there. And I think Snap did the same thing where it's like, what do we have locations for? And, that's what they're there for. Like, if you want to argue Merlin is a problem, it is largely a problem because it flattens the RNG curve. Like, that is the biggest problem with Merlin. It was the same thing with Nocturne, right? Like, that is the way in which the card is a problem. And I think that is a really important lesson that, like, these card games, every card game needs an RNG aspect in it. And I think especially when you look at like Lorcana and One Piece, there's not enough of it. Like, just drawing cards is not enough RNG. It just is not.
No, it's not, because inevitably some of your game mechanics are going to be ways to mitigate that to some degree. And then it's just like, what is your plan for long term? Like, okay, you're going to make some hand sculpting thing. A couple sets later, you may want to make another hand sculpting thing. And then it just gets to a point where it's like the things are ultra consistent and whatnot. And I think Hearthstone did a pretty good job of this overall, minus where they put the decision making in regards to the RNG. I think that was like their only failure.
I think they did a pretty good job on executing on what it looks like to fix Magic's mana without fixing your own game out of existence. You know what I mean? Like, without versus systeming it, which I think is like a reasonable thing to try to do. It's a hard line to walk. And I think Marvel Snap has walked it pretty well, in large part because they just baked it into the game system. They were like, we don't have to put a bunch of RNG on our cards. We can if we want to, if we think that's fun. But it doesn't have to be there as an ability to give the game different textures. We literally just invented a game mechanic that is basically every game has a different texture. Here you go. It's the different texture, right? And you just, that exists. It just does exist.
Or the RNG stuff is like, not that these are like prime examples of like perfect design or anything, but like Gwenpool, Mr. Fantastic First Steps, where it's like, no matter what outcome happens, I am happy, but it does change the texture of the game and makes the games feel different from one to the next because there are different outcomes and you're capable of doing different things. And it's just like, all of these things are good, but it still makes me happier to like play the game and continue playing.
Yeah. And I think that there's a degree to which, too much texture changing can result in unsatisfying outcomes too. Like if you look at Hearthstone currently, there's a lot of like, did my opponent do the thing? Oh, guess I lose. Like it's like texture shouldn't just be 100-0. And I think locations are a great way of doing that too. Because while there are locations that just like this shuts off an entire thing, they're actually pretty rare. And a lot of the time you can lose because
now they are.
Yeah. A lot.
They didn't necessarily all start that way, but
there are decks that lose to just like a Crimson Cosmos, right? You're playing Sarah, there's a Crimson Cosmos, you're just like, oh fuck, I'm dead, right? That can happen, absolutely. But like a lot of the time most of the time really, they're smaller than that. There's not a ton of 100 zeros.
I think they did a really good job of listening to the community in terms of like feedback on location frequency. Because now it is in a pretty good spot. And I think the locations that come out now are not things that are just like, here's another version of you can't play here.
Yeah. There was a bit where they just kept making those guys. And here the funny thing is they made Tokyo 2099, which is the location that says cards can't be discarded, right? Or something like that, right? And everyone got really mad. They were like, how can you make a card a location that just shits on one deck? And it's just like, in every other location. There's tons of those. Yeah. But I do think that like texture matters to a card game, and a lot of newer card games are defaulting towards making the experience pleasant in the short term, but in the long term run a textureless risk where it's like, you're never going to go wrong with like oatmeal or whatever. It's never going to be a bad food to eat, presumably. Like I'm a big fan of oatmeal. I'm trying to just pick like a bland food. Like you're not gonna go wrong with it. But it's hard to be like, oh man, that oatmeal was the highlight of my day. Hard for that to happen. And I think
I can't wait to eat oatmeal for the 100th time.
Yeah. And it's like I think that like it's probably a good way to make a game that lasts for 5 years that you can do a lot of like cool chase NFT type cards in. And I think they've clearly, both of those games have been doing that, but I do wonder about long-term viability. But I mean, I play Marvel Snap. Our long-term viability gets cratered every time they put a card that costs any amount of money in the game. So yeah, I mean, clearly there's other ways to crater a card game that are unrelated to gameplay, right? You can absolutely crater a card game with monetization and not with gameplay.
Yeah, there are a lot of pitfalls, obviously, and it's a very delicate line to walk for all of these things. And I think that I don't know. It does feel like a lot of these companies, they're like, we're going to make a game. Here's the thing. Like, here's the engine or whatever. And it's like, did you put any care into consideration into like where you want the game to be in 5 years and like how you think that is going to be best sustained? Because a lot of the time they're just like, we just need to get to market. We just need to like ship a thing and then we'll be good. Then we'll show them. And it's like, nah, you're DOA like every single time. You know, why you think that it's the same like 3 or 4 games that have been around for 20 plus years and everything else is just daubs?
I think that's why the people get so frustrated at Marvel Snap's monetization is because they play the game and they're just like, wow, that's really fucking good. Like, it's just a really fucking good game. And then they like get involved in the metagame of card collection and they're like, holy shit, they have this really good game that they strapped a gacha game onto. And it's like, oh man, I don't know if I could do that, right? And I think that like that is a lot of the people who vocally dislike Marvel Snap, they vocally dislike the monetization because they love the game.
Right. Yeah, I mean, people who complain seemingly incessantly, it does demonstrate a significant amount of passion.
Yeah.
You know, it's like I'm not just out in the world screaming that like my grass isn't green enough or whatever. You know, it's just like I don't care what shade of green my grass is. It's not a thing I even care to speak on. So if someone is like day after day complaining about the same thing, it's because they care and they want it to be better, regardless of like how it comes across and whether or not they're
regardless of like
doing
whether
stuff,
that's an efficacious way of getting it to be better. Yes,
exactly. Yeah,
like but it does demonstrate, like I think with Marvel Snap, just how few of the complaints are about the game. Like, people are like kind of upset at metas sometimes, and largely I think they're mostly incorrect in their assessments of those metas, but like they get upset at them regardless, and that's fine. But overwhelmingly negative sentiment is directed at the economy in a game.
I will say sometimes the negative meta stuff, I do think that there could be a hidden aspect there where like they are complaining about things that are easily fixable if you were collection complete.
Can you elaborate on that?
Right? Well, you're just like, well, if this is so frustrating, you can play like X, Y, or Z deck. And they're like, I'm literally missing 3 cards from each deck or whatever. And it's like, that's back to the
economy,
the fundamental issue. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
like,
I think that might be true some of the time. Definitely not all the time.
Hey man, it's the easiest dunk on me in the world. KMBest wouldn't get it because he's a whale. That one happens all the time. I had someone someone posted something, I agreed with it, and then someone below it was like, KMBest just wouldn't get it because he's a whale. It's like, I literally agreed with it. What are we talking about? Like what the fuck? Like, it's
I love that.
It's
give me validation. You're like, okay, and they're like, fuck off.
What the fuck? I was like, I agreed with you. What are we talking about? But yeah, I brought back hot takes, and it was in that context. I brought back hot takes, and someone was like, it just gave the take that was like, you know, they're making so many cards to bleed us of their tokens. I was basically like, yeah, that's just like that. Yes, it's not a hot take. That's just the thing that's happening. I'm not going to talk about that. That's not a take. I don't even like. Not only is that not hot, it's not a take. Like, it's just like,
no, they want you to spend your currency. Correct.
It's a statement, right? Like, they're a business. They're a business that sells cards. Printing more cards means that they get more money. Yet very straightforward, like not a take. And so I responded that was like one of the coldest takes ever. It's just accepted reality. And someone below that, different guy, to be clear, was like, KMBest just wouldn't get it. He's a whale. It's just like, not only do I agree with it so strongly that I consider it basically fact. Like,
yeah, you're like, everybody knows this.
Yes. Like the issue isn't that it's untrue. The issue is that it's so true it doesn't qualify as either hot or a take. It's like saying Walmart's business model is to sell you stuff. Yes.
And they make more money when they pay their employees less.
Oh,
yeah.
Holy
yeah,
shit.
true.
Holy
you're
shit.
right. Damn.
Crazy.
I think you're onto something.
Yeah. But yeah, like that was the context. I was like, dude, I just like there are people that hate me just to do it, you know? A motherfucker will hate on me just to do it. Like not even to like do anything, just to get the dunk off that like I'm only good because I spend money, which is true. I'm only good because I spend fact.
We couldn't even spend money in the beta, and you had the highest MMR. But I'm sure that
I'm
was
only good.
just
I could
random.
spend. I could spend money. You can spend money in the beta. You just bought collection levels. There were no bundles.
Oh yeah.
You can spend money. You would spend money on gold, which you would convert to credits to upgrade your cards. Trust me on this. That was the only reason I was good.
No, yeah, I vaguely remember this.
Yep.
I felt like there was something. Oh, maybe this was not for us because we had the keys, but like when it released in the Philippines or something. Because people could like switch their app store to download it, but then they would switch it back to like be able to interact with the rest of their stuff, and then they could no longer buy stuff unless they then switched it back again.
Yeah, but that wasn't relevant to us because we had actual beta.
Yeah, the nepotism invite.
Yeah, the nepo beta keys. Speaking of which, without our boy, Nepo Man is gone now. He left. He left, and he works at Riot now. I think. Are we just totally owned?
Ben Hayes is the game director of League of Legends now.
The game direct he owns League of Legends?
Yeah.
That is an insane job to have. Holy fuck.
Ben is a very talented individual. Like he has been doing game design stuff since he was like preteen.
Jesus.
Like, getting paid by companies to make games since he was like 13, I think, something like that. Like
Jesus. This guy is the coolest man alive. That's insane. But yeah, that is so like and Blizzard beefed it and didn't bring back Ridiculous Hat. We're out of nepotism, Jerry. You made a face.
I pray to God or whatever the hell exists, whatever you believe in, that someone hires our hat and treats him well.
Like
dope human.
I cannot think of a better representative for any community ever. Like Second Dinner should hire him to do anything ever. Like it's just like this is a guy who you should pay to just be on the internet for your game. Like any game, you should do that for this guy. He is that good at his job. He is so able to be present and ingrained and put a human face on a corporation that is so insanely valuable in the modern day and age when every corporation has no human faces. I saw Glenn Jones had the Discord status indefinite Discord break. You know who could be a Glenn Jones on Discord? It could be Ridiculous Hat.
I love Glenn so much.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Well, why does indefinite Discord break make you feel that? Like, how long do you think that is, for the record?
Well, it could be anything. And that's why. Like, when he says that, he means it. And he could wake up tomorrow and be like, all right, I'm back at it, you know? Or he could just be like, I could go back at it, but I don't want to, you know? There are just certain things where it's like, that's very Glenn Jones, and I've known him for a very long time as well. And many Glenn Jones memories make me smile.
Esteemed editor of Grinder the Brad Nelson story.
Yeah.
He still couldn't get me a copy. I tried. I think he thinks I'm a bit weird now. But I did try.
You think he thinks you're weird now? Now.
Okay, I think he thinks I'm a different flavor of weird now. Like,
fair.
Like I think there's
that's understandable.
This guy streams my game and complains about it and yells about it. That's an archetype a lot of people understand. This guy went and looked up my editing history to see if he could get a copy of a book to make jokes about it. A different kind of weird.
I can see Glenn kind of like cocking his head and just being like, I need to update my mental model on this person, you know, like that kind of thing.
but like to update the mental model to downgrade the overall ranking. You know what I mean?
Maybe, probably, but he's like, oh, you got some depth to you. You know, you have layers. I may have typecast you before, but
Yeah. All the layers are just like increasing. Like you like pull back layer 1 of Salty Streamer, and it's just Grinder the Brad Nelson story, and then you pull back that layer, and it's Grinder the Brad Nelson story again, and you just like keep pulling back layers, and that's it. There's actually no depth. It's artificial depth. Right? It's like how Anor Londo in Dark Souls is actually just one big hallway, but it looks cool as shit. Like that's like in Dark Souls, there's this amazingly designed castle that is incredible, but if you zoom out of how the game actually has you play through it, it is largely a hallway that goes in a circle, and you don't really notice, but that is what it is. There's some rooms off the hallway, but that's really what it is. You're not like free roaming through the castle.
I've been walking around for 3 hours.
Yes.
Where am I? Oh, the entrance.
It's amazingly designed, but it is like, it's one of those things where it's like a lot of it relies on, once you notice it, it's like, oh, whoops. But like, it's still a great game, and it's one of the best levels in that game, and it's like this incredible thing. But like, yeah, it's like a hallway. Sometimes there's a couple floors. Like that's it. And I think that is like what it is with me, right? It's the artificial depth.
But we've established that if your depth consists of many thoughts about Grinder the Brad Nelson story, it does mean it demonstrates some amount of passion, you know, for the story.
Yeah, for the grinding. No,
to whatever end that is.
I'm a grinder's grinder, you know? Like that's actually, like, genuinely, I think people don't get this about me. I know for a fact I don't have the mental to play like competitive anything. It's one of the things that I've known for a very long time. All I want to do is do what I do now. Like, I don't want to deal with the amount of self-hatred I will feel for choosing 11 out of 12 correct cards. You know what I mean? I don't want to deal with that. I don't want to deal with the emotions and the ego and all of that stuff. It's obviously something I try to work on. I want to be a grinder. I want to do the work, but I don't want to do the rest of it.
To me? Why does no one listen to me?
I don't know, the hair.
That's why I wear a hat. You can't even see my hair. You got to imagine it. Could be anything.
Yeah. But like, we all know underneath that is, you know, several mohawks.
Is that bass player coded?
I think mohawks is like guitar player coded.
Yeah. I don't think I'm that cool then to have mohawks. Yeah. Let alone several. Yeah. But no, man, you could do the grinding thing, but you treat it like the training arc.
Yeah.
With like Eye of the Tiger plan, you know, like you just try to make good decisions.
Yeah.
And see what happens. But like, if you do that, the other shit doesn't even get involved. You're just trying to better yourself. You know, your number goes up for like how much weight you can lift.
Here's the thing.
Right?
Here's the thing. This is where we should smash cut to a picture of like Michael Chiklis as the Thing. But
here's the thing. This guy.
Yeah. Here's the thing. I think that it is important for me to sort of master these aspects of myself and not and try to be what I want to be. But like, I feel like people think that like I want to be a competitive player. I want to be a content creator. I've watched so many people be competitive players and drive themselves absolutely fucking insane. I want to be the thing that I am.
When you start your competitive journey, you should not be allowed to reflect unless you are trying to learn, like examine what happened and the decisions you made and whether or not those were good, what you could have done differently, etc. You should not be allowed to do any sort of retrospective until 10 years later. And then you can look back on stuff that you've accomplished, like, oh, I, won this or top 8 at this or whatever. And then you can be happy or sad about it. But until you hit 10 years, you don't get to do that.
So what's it like having done that 10 years ago? Ha! He's old, get it?
It's probably like 20 years ago, for being real.
I would say like that's sort of the thing. I like what bothers me the most is
that's sort of the thing. Shows a thing that sort of looks like Michael Chiklis playing the thing. It's just like a banana.
Damn it. We need an editor so bad. That would be so funny. But yeah, I think that the feeling I hate most in the world is a feeling of guilt. And I think a lot of the time when I lose, that's the feeling that I get. And it's a very, like, a feeling of guilt, a feeling of panic, a feeling of what I guess you would call a reverse flow state. And I don't have the mental shit for a living. I have the mental to stream it, but I don't have the mental to like actually have money on the line. Are you fucking kidding?
To be clear, you feel guilt because you know that you messed up and you know that you are capable of better and you did not live up to that. And that is why you are feeling this way?
No, I think it's like much more like I feel guilt because any loss means that I'm a fraud, which is obviously wrong and moronic, but that's how it feels, right? Like it's a panic doom spiraling thing rather than a logical
frauds,
thing.
Dude, what are you talking about? Are you a fraud? Yeah.
Fuck. You got me.
Am I? Yeah, absolutely. I don't know, man. Like if you fail at a thing, it's a learning experience. Take joy and solace in the learning and being better. That's all that happens. That's all that happens in that moment.
That's always the struggle for me. And but yeah, I think like people don't understand like what I want to do. I want to speed run the content.
Oh, I don't understand because I'm a whale.
Yeah, you don't understand because you're a whale. I want to speed run the content creator to potential game designer pipeline. That's what I've always wanted to do. You know, I want to do what I do, and then I want to like magically get hired, and this will obviously happen, right? Obviously, a thing that I can magically speak into existence. But
if that's the case, why do you give a shit about like the fraudulent, like not being very good or like making a mistake? That has nothing to do with the other thing.
Have no idea. I have no idea why it matters to me like that.
All right, I got good news and bad news. Good news is to implement this thing, I don't think you're going to have to leave your house.
That is good news.
The bad news is you should maybe talk to a therapist or like a sports psychologist.
Shit. If only I had the money for that. Would be nice. I
feel free to ring that bell, hit that subscribe button. Like, comment, share with your friends.
If you look at the numbers, you can literally see
when KM to therapy.
You can literally see when
Kid really?
Yes. Like,
yeah.
You can literally see it in the numbers of like every channel I have is like that's when it happened. Like you can see like I don't know exactly what percentage down everything is, but it's a notable, right? And it's not the end of the world. I obviously still have the world's greatest. It's the fucking absolute easiest thing on earth. I'm never going to sit here and be like, streaming is hard.
My tiny, like 6-pound cat with giant bunny legs just tried to jump on my desk and absolutely ate shit.
A real theme of the episode is doing something you know you're good at and eating shit anyway. You know, the 99
she walked away in embarrassment.
Yeah, that's every stream I've ever done. That's all.
Hey, Pira, do you learn anything though? That's what you should be focusing on.
You gotta tell her to. Yeah, I'm a cat in this analogy. It's really.
She's both a cat. Her head is roughly this big, so her brain.
Okay, can you just do me a favor? Big. We're so far into the podcast. Go get the cat. Go get the cat. I want to see the cat. She's describing a really tiny cat, and I want to see the cat
right now. I'm not going to put her on camera.
I want to see the cat. It's a really tiny cat.
She's this colored.
That is the least Wait, Gerry, pick up the blanket again. So that's sort of the thing.
That's sort of the thing.
That's sort of the thing. We did it. It took. Figured it out. We don't need an editor to make any of our. Oh, look at how tiny. Look at how tiny. That's a very tiny kitty. God, that is the smallest kitty. Oh, now she looks quite large, actually. Hold on. My cat's coming in here. Let's see if I can get a double cat era. Two cats. That's what this podcast actually is. It's two cats.
We have roughly the same size brain as our cats.
About the size of a walnut. That's what I've got.
My cat blends into
here.
my blanket. Yours blends into your shirt.
True. Yeah. It's the worst part is I changed my wardrobe a little bit once I realized she was jumping on my shit all the time. So I bought a bunch of like whiter shirts. But what she does, I don't know if you can see it, is like you probably can't see it, but I can. You see those black spots? Because she's dirty. So I was like, oh, I can't wear black shirts because she'll get hair all over them and that'll look terrible. You can look at my mic, right? Now I can't wear white shirts. Same. Yeah, I can't get white shirts because she'll get dirt all over them. I don't even know how it's possible to be this dirty, but she does it. And
clean your house, bro.
I do. I literally do. But like, she's
get
a cat.
Roomba.
Dude, I really should. All right. That is a great note to end the show on, the double cat pick there. Do you have any final words for our loyal watchers? Any like Eric Adams anecdotes? Any funny tournament shit happen? Any magic cheaters?
I shocked a 3-3 this week. That was tight. Learned a lot. And magic cheater that I remembered and thought about on my drive home. Oh my God, what was this? Oh, I forgot. But there was one where I was like, oh, I just remembered one where I don't think we talked about yet. But it happened a while ago.
Well, that's your cue to listen to the next episode. Surely he'll remember then.
Cliffhanger.